Yay. So I just want to say I'm nearing the tail end of this, and I finally realized that I have to hit the button for it to work. So I just want to applaud myself
Yeah.
on the progress I'm making. So welcome back everyone to my series where I'm talking to 32 different fans from 32 different teams. I'm super excited to have Matt on. I will be honest and say this will be me and Matt's first conversation ever. I'm friends with Matt's wife. And so many people through this journey have passed off and been like, hey, talk to this person, talk to this person. And I love these conversations because it allows me to know more about you and more about your fandom. So thank you for joining me to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I will let you just introduce yourself however you want to introduce yourself. And we'll just start talking about your amazing team.
Should I introduce myself as Casey's wife or what?
Sorry, Casey's husband.
Yeah, my name is Matt. I guess, I've been a Jaguar fan for ever since I can remember, since I was
Oh,
little.
really? Your
Yeah,
whole life? Okay.
since I was about 8, 9 years old.
Nice.
I guess it kind of started. I like their colors. That's how it all started. If you can believe.
That's how my team started too.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you living in Jacksonville or was it just like a new
No,
team?
I have family in Florida and Tennessee, actually, two of our biggest rivals.
Okay.
But, I have family out there, but really, I just watched them on TV, liked their colors. That's how it all got started. I fell in love with Fred Taylor later on, and
Mm,
I kept watching them if I could get the games out here. So, yeah.
yeah. I love that. So, as a fan of Jacksonville, I feel like Jacksonville is one of those teams that is like a smaller market team, and they always have international games.
Yeah.
And it's probably brilliant by the NFL to like try to build a different fan base for them. But how do you feel like what is it like being a Jaguars fan? Do you feel like you guys are kind of like I don't want to say outcast, but kind of like in a different atmosphere as far as the conversations that you get from the NFL, like promotional stuff? Like it's very rare that you see Jacksonville Jaguars unless they're like going to London or doing something overseas.
We're still the newer franchise, so I see that a lot. We're not as established, but I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Being out here on the West Coast, yeah, it's lonely sometimes, but
Yeah, I can understand that. How is it? How does the fan base like Trevor Lawrence? I watched Trevor Lawrence in
that's trailing
college,
well.
and
That's
so
trailing.
how is Trevor Lawrence? Is he the guy? Do you guys love him? Are you like, get him some weapons? How do you all feel about Trevor Lawrence?
Um, he's our boy. We love
Okay.
him. I love him.
Okay.
He's got some developmental things that still need to happen, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, I think he has glimpses of being a great quarterback, honestly.
Yeah. I agree with that. So tell me a little bit about the draft. How was the free agency for you all? How was free agency? Was there anybody that you signed where you were like, yes, thank you? Or is there anyone that you lost where you were like, oh man, I really wish that we wouldn't have lost him?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got big Gabe Davis, which I thought that was a pretty good pick. We needed a bigger wide receiver. But yeah, I was really sad to see Calvin Ridley go. Honestly, I love that guy. So, and
Yeah.
especially going over to the Titans, that hurt. That really hurt.
There was a lot of interdivisional trades or things that happened.
Oh yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Saquon Barkley. We had one with Patrick Queen came over to us from the Ravens. Like I feel like it was kind of weird how many people have stayed within their conference.
Which is good for the league, I think. But yeah, it's more and more every year. I see more and more. So it's been big names, like you said. So
yeah, it's kind of shocking. And you're right. The NFL probably loves it. They're like, I know how we're going to like advertise this game, so it's probably helpful for them.
I do gotta say, Mac Jones hated it. I was like, this is terrible. Why would we do this? And then I like came around and thought about it, and I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a bad pick. It's a bit gambly, in my opinion, but it's a good backup quarterback for I forget what 6th-round pick or whatever they picked him up for. So I came around and I kind of liked it actually at the end of the day. But originally I hated it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, because I feel like that move was one that I was kind of like, Okay, but you know what? If he's a backup and he works as a backup, I think that's perfect. The other one, I think you guys got somebody from the 49ers that I was actually kind of like, oh, okay, I see this being, I okay, I can understand this. So, what about the draft? How do you feel like you all did in the draft? I know I feel like the draft was super weird this year because of all the quarterbacks going early, and then I feel like a lot of teams kind of got lucky because they got the guys they actually wanted. So many offensive guys went first. But how do you feel like you all did in the draft? What was
Not as bad as what everyone says the Falcons did, huh? No, I'm just
yeah?
kidding.
Oh gosh, what a joke.
I watched a little bit of it. I got to be honest, I didn't watch all of it. I'm excited for. I think we got this big wide receiver, Brian Thomas, out of LSU. Excited to see him play. It was a pretty heavy wide receiver draft, so adding weapons for Trevor Lawrence, I think that was a good pick. I'm excited to see all the young guys play, but that's about all I watched on the draft, honestly.
Okay.
I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. How is you all's offensive line? Historically, I usually don't hear much about Jacksonville's offensive line. How is it?
I think it's okay. It's
Okay.
the key is can they stay healthy, right? I guess you can go for every team, but
Yeah.
you got to stay healthy. So I know we
Yeah.
had some issues with some of our offensive line last year, but
Okay.
especially for Trevor Lawrence, he likes to roll out of that pocket, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's pretty mobile. So what is your biggest concern heading into the season? What is something that when you look at your team, you're thinking, okay, are we going to get this figured out? Or I'm tired of this being an issue?
My biggest concern is, I guess I kind of alluded to it, is injuries, right? Like Trevor Lawrence staying healthy, offensive line staying healthy. Really, I think that's the key to going far in our success.
Yeah. Do you guys still have ETN?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
That guy.
Awesome. And then division wise, you guys have, I call them the young Texans, the baby Texans, the darlings of the NFL, I feel like, because they're young.
They look pretty good.
Yeah. So how does the division usually work for you all? I think that every division, I've realized it's kind of like this team always beats this team always beats this team, and it's always this weird thing. Who do you all usually struggle with in the division?
I think the biggest rivals we have are the Titans usually. Yeah, well, Derrick Henry's not over there, thank God, anymore. But he used to run all. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the highlights, but it's embarrassing sometimes, and usually they're against the Jags. So that's probably our biggest rival.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the Titans, honestly.
You say the Titans. Is there anybody on the schedule this year that you are excited to play, or that you're looking at the schedule and you're kind of circling the team and going, oh gosh, here we go with these guys?
Let's see. I think Buffalo's always pretty tough, right? Especially in Buffalo. I think that's a little earlier on, so hopefully the weather's not as challenging.
Yeah, that's true.
And then obviously the Titans is going to be a big matchup, especially now that they got Calvin Ridley, and it's just always a big rivalry.
Yeah. Do you all, what is your hope for this season? Are you guys going into this going playoffs 100% Super Bowl? Are you like a Dallas Cowboy fan that's like every year you're going to the Super Bowl? What are you like? What would be a good season from Jacksonville Jaguars standards?
Second round playoffs.
Okay.
For me.
Okay. So get in and then win a game.
Right. I'm a fan, so I want to go all the way, but I think there's some missing pieces. I think the Jags are getting better and better every season. So second round playoffs would be, I would love it. I'd love to see that as a fan.
Yeah. My Steelers are kind of there too. We're good at making the playoffs. And then once we make it, we're like, who cares about this? So I feel like that's where we're at too. We're like, if we can make the playoffs this year and then win a game in the playoffs, like we're asking. Yeah. We're not asking for much, but I mean, that's what happens when the standard is the standard. So that's what else, like being a Jags fan, what else should we know about your team? What else should we be thinking about when it comes to the Jags? Do you guys position yourselves to be like a good running team, a good defensive team? Like, what is your identity as a team? Like, what is something that you all take pride in and you're like, this is who we are. This is what we do.
well, we definitely have the best mascot in the NFL. I'll tell you that. Have you ever seen that guy running around in his Speedo, Jacksonville?
Yeah. So have you ever been to the stadium?
Say again?
Have you ever been to the stadium?
I haven't had the privilege of being in the stadium, but I've been to it. Yeah.
So I've been to the stadium, and I will not kid you. After every down, I looked up at the pool to see, is the pool still there?
Yeah. Party.
So I always looked up there. I'm like, what's happening up there? It's like the biggest distraction in football. I don't care what anybody says.
Like that.
And then yeah, and then you're right. And then the Jaguar walks around in his Speedo and does all these things, and I'm just like, this is entertainment. This is entertainment. So I'll give you that. Awesome. So is there anything else that you just want us to know as we wind down this episode? I feel like I said before, I feel like Jacksonville is one of those teams that you don't hear about until you hear about them, or unless they're making big moves, or God forbid somebody gets in trouble, or the coach gets fired. Other than that, I feel like it's one of those organizations that you don't hear a lot about, and maybe that's good because you can sneak up on teams. And obviously, the Texans are now kind of, I don't want to say taking over, but they have this interesting thing going that everybody is super interested in. So I didn't know if there's anything you would like us to know about your Jags that we should know, because, you guys are an NFL team.
Yeah, nothing changes, right? We're flying under the radar, but yeah. I think we're progressing. I think we got a pretty good team. I think maybe a couple more pieces. So keep your eye out for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I just want to end this by saying you are no longer Casey's husband. You are now Matt. And I am super excited that I was able to talk to you. And thank you for just sparing some time and figuring this out. And thank you for being amazing and just being willing to talk to me about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.